Hi, welcome back to my channel. My name is Gabriella, also known as Curly Cailin. Today, as you can see by my hair, I've got some issues. I've got some problems that I'm hoping to fix. And it is all about something that so many curly girls struggle with, and that is the protein moisture balance and how to know if your hair needs more protein or more moisture. I've been following the curly girl method for almost 2 years, and the protein moisture balance is something that I've struggled with pretty much since the start. I know an awful lot of curly girls struggle with it. How do you know if your hair has got too much moisture in it, which is what I have at the moment? So if it's got too much moisture, your hair is very soft, it's very limp, it won't hold a curl no matter what products you use, how hard the gel hold is, the cast on your hair. It's sometimes much harder to get a cast on your hair because there's so much moisture in your hair. It will stretch a lot more before it will snap. Sometimes it won't snap at all, it'll just keep stretching and stretching. And it can feel quite soft and mushy both when it's wet and when it's dry. You can also have frizz, which, as you can clearly see, I have quite a lot of frizz. You can just tell that it's off. Your curl pattern and definition isn't the same to what it usually is. Thankfully, I'm not in the hydro fatigue stage yet. I have been there before and it was not good, and it took me months to get my hair to recover from that. I don't want to get there again. Part of the problem when you have a protein moisture imbalance and your hair is too moisturised and you can only get your curls to hold and stay up on wash day is that then we think, well, then I'll just keep washing it and I'll just keep doing wash day because then I get good hair. But the problem with that is you just, every time you're washing your hair, you're putting more and more moisture into it, which is just making the problem even worse. Despite it being day 4 hair, my hair doesn't feel dry. It doesn't feel like it's lacking moisture. It's not greasy at the roots, it's not greasy anywhere else. I'll show you what it looks at the back and the sides. A hot mess, basically. Now I still have loads of volume, which is purely just because I have so much hair. So that's why it still looks quite voluminous. But if you don't have a lot of hair like I do, then another sign that you need protein in your hair is it'll just be very limp and very lifeless and just there's no oomph to the hair whatsoever. So what am I going to do to fix it? Usually I would do my modified rice water treatment, which I'll list in the description box below. And that is what I would do usually on a regular basis to kind of maintain a healthy protein moisture balance. But it's not working for me at the moment. I tried a gelatin treatment as well, that's not working either. So today I'm going to be pulling out the big guns and I'm going to be using the Aphogee 2-step protein treatment. I'm only going to use the first step, I'm not going to use the second one, which is the balancing moisture. Instead I'm just going to use other products that I have. I'm going to use the AG hairline behind me. It's got apple cider vinegar, which is also great for clarifying and kind of, I live in a really hard water area, so I'm going to deeply clarify my hair with a gelatin shampoo. Maybe it's a gelatin, I don't know which one, how to say it. But I'm going to use my Bumble Sunday shampoo. I'm going to work that into my hair for a good, 3 to 5 minutes. Make sure all product buildup and all kind of mineral hard water deposit buildup is off of my hair. It is essential for me because I live in a hard water area, so I don't want to waste time putting a protein treatment in my hair if my hair is covered with hard water, lime scale, mineral deposits or product buildup. So I find that any kind of deep treatments that I'm going to do always work best on my hair after I've clarified. And I haven't used my Bumble in a few weeks. Usually I will use it once every 4 to 6 weeks just to get rid of all product buildup and hard water buildup on my hair. And then I'm going to come back and show you how I'm going to apply the Aphogee treatment. So stay tuned. So I washed my hair thoroughly with the Bumble Sunday shampoo. Really worked to massage that in for at least 3 to 5 minutes. I stuck it in a microfiber towel just to take out any excess moisture. Now I'm going to take my Denman paddle brush and some clips and claws and just separate it up and detangle it. I couldn't find my spray bottle anywhere, so I have improvised. My Bumble Sunday shampoo was all gone, so I've emptied that, cleaned it out, found a small spray thing, and I've put the Aphogee two-step protein treatment into this so that I can spray it and distribute it evenly throughout my hair. So you've got to spray it in until it saturates the hair, as per the instructions. Okay, so I have thoroughly soaked my hair. Just whatever's left in the bottle, especially at the back, I'm just going to go over that and just spray it, just because the back is particularly where my hair is really struggling. Okay, so the key is now not to touch it, not to brush it, and to let it dry into like a super hard cast. So I'm gonna let it air dry for a little bit. I'm gonna answer some of your questions from Instagram, and then I'm going to diffuse it slightly to help it dry a little bit further. Is there a way to deep condition and protein treatment in one? Yes, there is. There are lots of deep conditioning treatments that have protein in them. My favourite one is the Hairfinity Amino strengthening mask, which is what I use when I do my rice water, the modified rice water treatment method. Again, I'll link that in the description box below. That does have protein in it. There's another one, there's a deep sea repair from Devacurl. Curls Blueberry Bliss reparative mask has protein in it. Clem intensive moisture treatment has some protein in it, but it's more of a moisture treatment. There's Curl Junkie do a really good one called Repair Me. That's probably the one with the most protein in it, I would imagine. But yes, there are lots of kind of store-bought deep conditioners that have protein in them. Even though I do regular rice water rinses, my curls are stretched out and they don't deep condition afterwards. Yeah, very same as me. It just means that your moisture protein balance is really more leaning to the moisture side, and you have to do something hardcore like the Aphogee two-step protein treatment to really get an injection of protein into your hair. The rice water, if you do the rinses, I feel that that's less protein. If you do it more of the gloop and mix it in with a protein deep conditioner like my modified method, I find that's just good for keeping the balance. But if you're really struggling with protein and your curls are still stretched out after using rice water, go for something like this. How do you prevent your hair from becoming over moisturized in the future? You can do regular rice water rinses or my modified method every week, every other week, once a month to keep the balance right. You can also mix protein and moisture throughout your curl products. So tend to balance them all the time, protein, moisture, protein, moisture. So if you've got protein in your shampoos or your low poos or your co-washes, whatever, in your cleansers, then do a protein-free conditioner. And then if you've got protein in your leave-in conditioner or in your stylers, make the final one not have protein in. What's the easiest protein treatment to do for over moisturized hair? I would definitely say the modified rice water treatment is probably my go-to for that. If you're doing a rice water, should your deep conditioner have no protein? I disagree on this. I find that my best results are when I use a deep conditioner with a protein, which is the Hairfinity Amino strengthening mask, which does have protein in it. If your hair really likes protein, then use a protein deep conditioner afterwards and just use the rice water as like an extra punch and kick. What's my go-to protein treatment that isn't gelatin? Rice water, DIY protein masks that actually work and make a difference. Okay, so the reason that so many DIY protein masks don't work is because they use things like eggs and mayonnaise and different foods. And the problem is the protein molecule, it's getting so technical, is too big to actually penetrate your hair shaft, which is why so many of them don't work. And believe me, I've tried them all, and the only DIY treatment that I found works for me is the modified rice water method. I feel like this is going to just be me repeating that an awful lot. Protein styling products versus a protein mask, how do you know which your hair needs? So me personally, my hair seems to prefer protein treatments and protein masks and protein deep conditioners and treatments like this, as opposed to protein in styling products. I can use them in my cleansers and in my conditioners, deep conditioners and treatments. But if I use styling products that have a lot of protein in them, it just makes my hair feel really, really dry and straw-like, but in the next wash it'll be fine again. So I prefer masks and treatments. Is it okay for low porosity hair? Okay, that is an absolute myth that low porosity hair doesn't like or need or respond well to protein. It's just a myth. It's just not true. Everybody's hair needs protein. It is made of protein. How often should you be doing treatments like this? It really depends on your hair. The Aphogee 2-step protein treatment, this one here, says not to use more than every 6 weeks. The rice water I can use on a weekly basis. Sometimes if my balance is good, I can knock it down to every 2 weeks, once a month. It really depends on your hair, how often you wash it, how over moisturised it is. So when I had high-growth fatigue, it didn't get fixed in one go. It needed, goodness, it was like a good 6 to 8 weeks of consistent weekly modified rice water treatments before my hair was back in a balanced state. Can Curly Girl shampoos with protein ingredients be enough for protein balance? Again, it depends on your hair and where you are on the scale of protein to moisture. I love Bounce Curl. They have quite a lot of protein in. They're probably my favourite cleansers of all time. I do have a discount code. I had to go and put a silk scarf around my shoulders. How do you tell which, like if you've got too much moisture or too much protein, is there a difference between the two? It depends where you are on the scale of, like, are you really over moisturised and have high growth fatigue, or do you have absolute protein overload, or are you just a little bit more than the other? If you have protein overload, your hair will snap and break incredibly easy. It will feel very dry, it will feel like straw, you can also get frizz with that, and it's that dry frizz, and you feel like you just cannot get enough moisture soaked up into your hair. So for both things, I recommend that you clarify first, just to get rid of all the product buildup, mineral deposits, hard water, chlorine from swimming, salt from the sea, all that kind of stuff. Clarify first with a gelatin shampoo if that's what you need. And then go in with, if you've got too much moisture, go in with a protein treatment like this, followed up by conditioner or a deep conditioner. If it's that you've got too much moisture, there's a few things that you can do. You can use products that have quite a lot of salt in them. Devacurl is a great brand for that in a good way. Things like their rocking ringlets, their confident coils, their spiralicious gel, all their styling products have quite a lot of salt in them. You can use a sulfate shampoo without silicones in it, which will kind of, it does strip the hair, but it will also strip the hair of that excess moisture. If you've got too much protein in your hair, then you need to do moisture, moisture, moisture. You need to look at your products that you're using. Have a look for things like keratin, hydrolyzed wheat protein, soy protein, rice protein, silk protein, whey protein I think is in some of them as well. There's just the ones off the top of my head. Have a look and see if you've got loads of those in your products, and cut them down. Like, you need to have protein, moisture in your routine, and if you've got too much protein, you need to have like moisture, 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 protein, moisture, if that makes sense. Again, I've got a post on the blog of how to build a curly girl routine, which explains that in more detail and gives you examples of wash day routines to use that are protein heavy, moisture heavy, or a good balance of both. I'll link that in the description box below. Okay, so I think that's answered all your questions. Hopefully I've covered everything there. If not, drop them in the comments below and I will try and help you out there. So my hair it's not completely dry, it's almost completely dry, certainly around my roots, just because I've got so much hair. It's very, like, you cannot, when you use this treatment, you cannot agitate your hair or pull at it or brush it. Certainly don't brush it or run your fingers through, or even like do this with the diffuser, because you will snap your hair off because it's in such a dried cast state with this protein. So I'm going to diffuse my hair now until it's just fully dry, simply by holding it around my head like this, because I don't have a hooded dryer. And then I'm going to go and rinse it out and condition and style my hair, and I'll be back then. So these are the final results. I will turn now and give you a close-up in a minute. And this is the back. I rinsed the hair out with warm water, not touching it at all because it's so, that cast is so hard. Rinsed it with warm water until the hair was moving and looking and feeling like hair again. Then I used the AG hair boost, boost conditioner, put that in, really worked it in, squished it and dish, roped it in, made sure I worked it through my hair. It felt instantly better once that was in there. And then I put in some of the Remedy, the leave-in kind of tonic, and then the AG Cloud foam, and then I finished it off with Aussie Instant Freeze Gel, one of my absolute favourite gels. And these are my final results. I'm definitely going to be doing this more regularly so that I don't get in such an over moisturised state. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch this. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Drop any comments you have below and I'll try and answer them as best as I can. And I will see you in my next video. Bye! Hi and welcome back. That was a very enthusiastic hi. I don't know what happened there. This is like my 6th take. Welcome to today's... Just be cool about it. Just be cool.